So one of the other reasons why I enjoyed writing Guarded by the Kraken, which is my beautiful bodyguard monster romance, is because I got to nerd out in it about saturation diving. I used to write science fiction and fantasy, and I always wanted to write a book about saturation diving because it's like The Abyss. Have you ever seen The Abyss? Like that old movie from the 80s? I loved it. And so I am just enthralled by the concept that there are conditions harsh enough on this planet where you can raise the atmospheric pressure by changing the gaseous content of the atmosphere around people so that they can operate at higher pressures once they're acclimated um, underwater. So this is something that they do in the North Sea when they are trying to direct oil fields and stuff. And so, well, people are going to be like, oh, that's monster romance. How real can it be? Yeah, there's parts of it that aren't real, but then there's parts of it that are. So obviously, there's no way that you could acclimate somebody to deal with atmospheric pressure, so much so to be in the abyssal plain, which is where Guarded by the Kraken takes place. But everything else I talk about in there, like the whole pressurization procedures and the fact that the air they breathe down there is more heavily concentrated with helium than anything else because it allows them to squish you at greater pressures. And they take out the nitrogen because that was what would give you the bends is entirely scientifically accurate. And I got to read a lot of fascinating research about it, like how, obviously it changes how you taste things. Things taste more metallic. When you call your family, you sound like Daffy Duck because you are living in a nitrogenous environment. Back in the 80s, it was like really dangerous to do this particular type of diving. I mean, it just always is because, like, you're at pressure. So if something happens to you, you're incredibly vulnerable because how are they going to save you? And that was a problem because a lot of the ships that had saturation diving didn't actually have saturation diving lifeboats. So if something did happen to you down there, it did happen to like your mothership, so to speak, you were SOL because if that ship was going down, you were going down with it because they didn't have a lifeboat that could accommodate the pressures that you had been under to perform the work that you'd been doing. So you would have died with that ship. And so, yes, that is, I love to geek out about saturation diving, clearly. And if you want to read a romance where I got to geek out about it, but also that is quite romantic, Guarded by the Kraken could be for you. You should check it out.